Elders, mothers, fathers, children of the listening ear, come closer. Do not sit in the shadows tonight. Draw your mats into the circle of the firelight, for the night is wide, and the forest has many eyes that do not sleep. Let the drums speak softly, like the heartbeat of the earth. We are here to remember. We are here to weigh the soul. This is not a story for laughter. This is not a story to be told while your mind wanders to the harvest or the market. This is a story that was carved into the hearts of our ancestors to save the lives of those yet unborn. Tonight, we travel to the village of Ndala. And tonight, I tell you the tragedy and the trial of Amara, the girl who married a stranger. Ndala was not just a village, it was a witness. It was older than the tallest Iroko tree, whose roots drink from the secrets of the underworld. It was older than the river that curved around the land like a sleeping python, golden in the sun, but bottomless in the dark. In Ndala, the people lived by the rhythm of the seasons and the whispers of the spirits. The elders of Ndala held the wisdom of 10,000 moons. They taught us, a stranger is a locked room. Do not enter until you have found the key. But youth is a bright flame that refuses to see the wind. Amara was the village's pride. She was beauty shaped by patience, or so it seemed. Her skin was the color of polished mahogany. Her eyes held the spark of the morning star. When she walked, the very dust seemed honored to rise and touch her feet. But Amara's heart was a walled garden. She did not want the local suitors. She did not want Chidi, the great hunter who brought her the finest pelts. She did not want Obina, the farmer whose yams were as thick as a man's thigh. She wanted something the village could not give her. She wanted a story that didn't belong to her people. Her mother, Ndala, saw the tilt of her daughter's head. She saw Amara staring at the horizon where the sun bleeds into the trees. Ndala warned her, "Amara, my daughter, a calabash that shines too brightly in the sun may be hiding a crack that will leak your life away." Amara would only smile, a smile that said, "I know better than the ancestors." He came at the hour of the broken sun, that time between afternoon and evening when the world turns orange and shadows grow long and thin. He walked into the market square of Ndala. The women stopped grinding grain. The men lowered their palm wine. Even the goats stopped their bleating. His name, he said, was Cole. He was tall, taller than any man in the village. His clothes were made of silk that shimmered like the surface of a lake. His voice was like honey poured over warm stones. He was perfect, too perfect. He claimed to be a prince from a kingdom across 7 rivers. He spoke of gold that grew on trees and houses made of ivory. But the elders sat in the shade of the council tree and watched. They noticed what the young did not. They noticed that the village dogs did not bark at Cole. They whimpered and tucked their tails between their legs. They noticed that as Cole walked through the market, the shadows seemed to bend away from him, as if the light itself was afraid to touch his back. The oldest man of Ndala, whose eyes were milky with age but clear with spirit sight, whispered, "Danger does not always growl, my children. Sometimes danger wears perfume." But Amara was lost. When Cole looked at her, she did not see a man. She saw a doorway out of her world. It was the day of the great market in Ndala. A day when the air itself smells of fermented locust beans, dried fish, and the sweet, heavy scent of overripe mangoes. People came from 3 days' journey away, from the hill country, from the river delta, and from the deep forest. In Ndala, The market is the heart of the world. It is where news is traded as fiercely as salt. Amara was there. She sat by her mother's stall, her hands stained purple from the berries she was sorting. She looked at the young men of the neighboring villages. They were strong. They were honest. But to Amara, they were common. They smelled of the earth and hard work. Amara did not want the earth. She wanted the sky. Then the silence came. It did not come all at once. It rippled through the crowd like a stone dropped into a pond. At the edge of the clearing, where the forest path meets the village red earth, a figure appeared. He did not walk like a man who had traveled many miles. His feet did not seem to gather the red dust. His clothes, his clothes were a sin against modesty. He wore a robe of silk so fine it looked like woven moonlight. Around his neck was a chain of gold so heavy it should have made him stoop, yet he carried it as if it were a feather. His name, he told the gatekeepers, was Cole. Cole entered the market. He was beautiful in a way that hurt the eyes to look upon. His skin was smooth, like a river stone polished for 1,000 years. His teeth were whiter than the meat of a fresh coconut. But as he walked past the pens where the livestock were kept, something happened. The village dogs, the fierce hunters that would face a leopard without flinching, they did not bark. They did not growl. They whimpered. They backed into the shadows, shivering, their bellies pressed to the dirt. The elders, sitting under the great Iroko tree, narrowed their eyes. The oldest man of Ndala, a man whose skin was like wrinkled parchment, leaned on his staff. He watched Cole's shadow. Or rather, he watched where the shadow should have been. The sun was high. A man should have a shadow beneath his feet, but Cole's shadow was thin. It was wispy, like smoke in a high wind. It did not seem to belong to the body that cast it. "Look at his eyes," the oldest man whispered to the others. "There is a fire in them, yes, but it is a fire that does not give off heat." Cole did not go to the chief. He did not go to the elders. He walked straight to the stall where Amara sat. Amara looked up. For the first time in her life, her breath caught in her throat. Cole smiled. It was a smile that promised everything and asked for nothing. "I have traveled across 7 mountains," Cole said. His voice was a melody, sweet, deep, and hypnotic. "I have crossed 7 rivers and walked through the Valley of Mists. I was told that in Ndala there was a flower that made the sun jealous. Now I see they were wrong." Amara felt her heart flutter like a trapped bird. "How were they wrong, stranger?" Cole leaned closer. The air around him was cold, a strange, biting cold that smelled of damp earth and ancient caves. "They were wrong because the sun is not jealous," he whispered. "The sun has already surrendered to you." That evening, the village was restless. Amara's mother, Naneka, sat her daughter down by the cooking fire. The flames cast dancing shadows on the walls of their hut. "Amara," Neka said, her voice heavy with dread. "This man, this Cole, he has no people. No one knows his father. No one knows the village of his birth. A man without a history is a man without a soul." Amara laughed. It was a sharp, brittle sound. "The elders are old and afraid of anything that shines, mother. He is a prince. He has gold that could buy our entire village 10 times over." "Gold cannot be eaten when the famine comes," Neka replied, "and gold cannot speak to the ancestors on your behalf. There is an emptiness in his stride, my daughter. When he speaks, his words do not echo. They fall flat, like a stone in a well." Amara turned away. She went to the window and looked out into the night. In the distance, at the edge of the forest, she saw a small fire. Cole was there. He was standing perfectly still. He was not eating. He was not sleeping. He was simply waiting. The elders held a secret council that night. They spoke of the beauty that steals. They spoke of the spirits that take human form to lure the vain and the restless into the great silence. "We must forbid it," the hunter said. "We cannot," the oldest man replied. "If we forbid it, we only make the trap more tempting. Amara must choose, but she chooses with eyes that are blinded by silk." And so, the stage was set. The stranger had arrived. The hook was baited with gold and honeyed words, and the girl who thought she was too beautiful for the earth began to drift further and further away from the shore. For 14 days, the sun rose and set over Ndala, but the village felt altered. It was as if a heavy mist had settled over the minds of the young, while the old felt a cold wind blowing through their bones. Cole did not stay in the village guest house. He remained at the forest's edge, in a clearing where the grass had turned yellow and brittle the moment he stepped upon it. Every morning, he would enter the village to court Amara, and every morning, he brought gifts that made the village girls gasp with envy. He brought beads that glowed in the dark like the eyes of a cat. He brought fabric that felt like water between the fingers, silk that changed color from indigo to crimson as the light touched it. Amara wore these gifts like armor. She paraded through the market, her head held high, ignoring the whispers of the women at the well. "See," she told her friends, "a man of Ndala gives you a copper ring and expects you to grind his corn for 50 years. Cole gives me the stars and asks for nothing but my company." On the 7th day, Amara's father, a man of tradition named Okoro, invited Cole to a feast. It was a test. In our lands, you truly know a man by how he shares a bowl. The family gathered in the central hut. The smell of pounded yam and bitter leaf soup filled the air. Okoro placed a bowl of choice goat meat before his guest. "Eat, my son," Okoro said, his eyes sharp and watchful. "A man who travels as far as you have must have a hunger that reaches his toes." Cole picked up a piece of meat. He moved it toward his mouth. He spoke of his kingdom. He spoke of his father's many palaces. His stories were so vivid, so enchanting, that the family sat spellbound. But Amara's younger brother, a boy with the eyes of a hawk, was not listening to the stories. He was watching Cole's throat. Cole's Adam's apple did not move. He would put the food to his lips. His mouth would move in the rhythm of chewing, but the meat never went down. When he wiped his mouth with his silk cloth, the boy saw the meat fall, hidden and whole, into the folds of Cole's heavy robes. Cole never swallowed, because a skull has no stomach. That night, the ancestors tried one last time to reach Amara. As she slept, draped in Cole's shimmering silks, a vision came to her. She saw her grandmother, a woman who had died when Amara was just a child. The old woman stood in a field of dry bones. "Amara," the grandmother whispered, her voice like the rustling of dead leaves. "Look at the feet. Always look at the feet." In the dream, Amara looked down at Cole. He was standing in the center of the village, but he had no feet. His legs ended in jagged white splinters of bone that plunged into the earth like stakes. Amara bolted upright in the dark. Her heart was hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. She looked at the gifts Cole had given her. In the moonlight, the beautiful indigo silk looked gray. It looked like the shroud of a corpse. For a moment, she felt a cold terror. But then, she heard a sound from outside. It was Cole. He was standing under the moonlight, playing a flute made of a pale, polished wood. The music was so beautiful, it acted like a drug. It washed away the dream. It smoothed over the fear. Amara went back to sleep, her ears filled with honey, her heart locked in a cage of gold. By the 14th day, Cole's patience began to fray. The mask of the perfect prince was becoming heavy. He approached Amara by the river. "My kingdom calls to me, Amara," he said. His voice was no longer just honey. It had an edge to it, the sound of metal scraping on stone. "I cannot stay in this dusty village, where the people stare at me with suspicion and the dogs howl at my shadow." He took her hand. His grip was not warm. It was like being held by a branch of frozen wood. "Come with me tonight. We shall be married by the laws of my people, under the great canopy of the deep forest. You will be a queen of a realm where the sun never burns and the rain never falls." Amara looked back at her village. She saw her mother carrying water. She saw the dust, the sweat, the old men arguing over land. She looked at Cole, and she saw escape. "I will go," she whispered. She did not tell her mother. She did not tell her father. She packed a small bag, but Cole shook his head. "You will need nothing from this place," he told her. "Where we are going, the memories of Ndala are but weightless ash." And so, as the moon reached its peak, the girl who married a stranger stepped off the red earth of her ancestors and followed a shadow into the dark. There is a silence that belongs to the living, and a silence that belongs to the dead. As Amara stepped over the boundary of Ndala, she stepped into the latter. She did not look back. If she had, she might have seen the village shrines weeping. She might have seen the ancestral masks in the meeting house cracking from top to bottom. Cole walked ahead of her. He did not use a torch. He did not need one. His skin seemed to emit a faint, sickly luminescence, like the belly of a deep-sea fish or the rot on a fallen log. "Cole?" she whispered, her voice trembling as the familiar trees of her childhood began to look like twisted, reaching arms. "The path is growing thin. Where are we going?" Cole did not turn around. "The path does not grow thin, Amara. It is your soul that is growing light. We are crossing the border where the physical world surrenders to the truth." They reached the first river, the River of Names, a dark, oily water that flowed backward. On the bank stood a tall, thin figure wrapped in shadows. "Give it back," the figure hissed. Cole stopped. He reached into his mouth and pulled out his voice. That beautiful, melodic voice that had charmed the village. He handed it to the figure. When Cole spoke next, his voice was a dry rattle, like pebbles shaking in a hollow gourd. Amara gasped. "Cole! Your voice!" "It was borrowed, Amara," he rasped. "A prince must sound like a prince. But we are home now." They reached the second river, the River of Sight. Cole stopped again. He reached up and plucked the very eyes from his head. The bright, burning eyes that had looked at Amara with such simulated love. He handed them to a waiting shadow. In their place were two dark, empty pits. Amara stumbled, her heart freezing. "Cole, your eyes! You cannot see." "I see better now," he hissed. "I see the marrow in your bones. I see the fear that makes your blood taste like copper." By the third river, the River of Flesh, Cole stopped to return the silk. But it was not just the silk. The shimmering fabric was fused to his skin. As he pulled it off, his very muscles and tan skin came away with it, handed over to a spirit who had lent them for the masquerade. Back in Ndala, the medicine man woke up screaming. He ran to the center of the village, beating a drum made of iron. "She is gone!" he cried. "The daughter of Ndala has crossed the third water. The ancestors have turned their backs. The soil is rejecting her footprints. But it was too late.